During your 10 years as coach at Denham Springs High School, how did football change? And they just say football has changed, and then say that, and then.
Well, I really don't think football has changed. You got blocking and tackling, you got passing and catching, but the facilities and the money and the situation have changed over the years to a great extent, and how it is evident. More and more people are participating, and more people are going to the situation itself that you don't just play a football player both ways. You have two platoons now a lot of times in a situation. During my tenure along the line itself, the quarterback even played defense along the line.
How did you change and adapt as a coach over the years?
I think my change over the years that I learned that you can't do everything by yourself. I look back to my first head coaching job at Delcom, where I was the only coach, and I coached every sport by myself. And I found out, that when you got some assistants, that's valuable assistants, and you coach them and let them do the coaching themselves. And it's so important in our life that we work together as a team.
During your early years as a coach, what were some of the toughest lessons that you learned?
I think probably the toughest lesson I learned was you don't take anything for granted. You go into a situation yourself and you say, this ball club is, they're losing every ball game they got by a large score itself, and they come in and they beat yourself. But you don't take it for granted itself, because you got to be prepared in every instance of every situation of life itself.
After winning the state championship at Assumption High School, why did you decide to take the coaching job at Denham Springs High School?
That might be a good question. I took the job, when I graduated from college, I was offered a job at Denham Springs High School as a football coach. And I went through the situation itself, and God has a plan and a purpose for everybody's life itself. And I think God had a plan for me. He said, not yet. I don't want you at Denham Springs right now. But after going to Napoleonville and Breaux Bridge and Delcom and Napoleonville along the line itself, that I got a little experience itself, and I got another phone call and asked me, and God brought me back to Denham Springs. And it's been a blessing to me and my family.
Share 2 or 3 of your fondest coaching memories at Denham Springs High School.
I think the fondest memory I have is seeing all these young men, like I said a few minutes ago. All these young men, they come out for athletics, football, or basketball, or track, or any other sport that they have in situation itself. And they develop a life itself, and then they come and they graduate, and they go out into the community itself and make something itself. You got lawyers, you got doctors, you got teachers and coaches and principals, and even the superintendent along the line itself. And yes, I even have a couple of them that were preachers in the life itself.
Did you equally enjoy being the principal at Denham Springs High School as coaching at Denham Springs High School?
I enjoyed being principal, but I think I love coaching a lot better because of the fact itself that I've been involved in athletics all my life, and every time a sport came open, I would try to participate in that particular sport in high school along the line itself. And I felt like that becoming the coach in that situation itself, I could help every individual person on that football team. But when I became principal, I felt like there was 1,500 students that I could help along the line itself, develop their lives itself. So I love both of them.
Did you have a mentor who was an example for you to emulate as a coach?
Well, I'd have to look back to my high school coaches and my junior college coach and Coach Galloway at Southeast along the line as great mentors, teaching me to have a little bit patient understanding of what's going on with the world of sports. And but I have another person that I think has been a great mentor to me. When I left Delcom, and I went to Napoleonville and coached with Elton Shaw, he changed my philosophy on football to a great extent itself that made me realize that there's some things that we need to do that we need to look at a lot closer in our life itself.
What has been the most rewarding thing about coaching at Denham Springs High School, and what are you most proud of?
I could talk about a lot of rewards in the situation. But I mentioned already that, you know, seeing these students graduate and going out into the world itself, but, you know, and becoming successful people in their life itself. Other rewarding things is seeing athletic programs come from really not seeing a playoff game, winning a district championship and developing itself and develop into a great program. We, Denham Springs High School, since all of us in our life itself have been here, that we look at it and we think about it itself. It's not an easy schedule for anybody anymore because we are well represented in the state itself.
Most people don't know that you had to interrupt your football career as a star running back at Southeastern to serve in the Korean War as a first sergeant of an infantry company. How did the experience impact your coaching philosophy? Which was tougher, the Korean War or Stanley Galloway?
That's a toss-up. You know, when I was in Korea along the line itself, and I was over there 6 months before the peace treaty was signed along the line itself, and you could see all the night lights lit up because of the bombs and the artillery and all those things itself. But when you got in that dressing room with Coach Galloway and you wasn't doing very good, you see a lot of lights lit up yourself.
What does being inducted into the Denham Springs High School Hall of Fame mean to you?
I think it's an honor. I'm humbled, but I look back and I've mentioned a number the athletes that I have. And this is an honor that goes to them itself. It's an honor that goes to the great coaching staff I have, where you was a member of, and Lloyd DeGeneres and Bobby Satcher and Dwayne Bailey, and working with Coach Alton Leggett in the situation itself. It is so enlightening in our life itself that it's made us successful. But there's one other thing. When I came here, I had to go out in the community. I had to sell the program. Not just the physical ads in the program itself, but the program itself that we was developing in life itself. And I have to give credit to God for blessing me to be able to do these things itself, but I've got to give credit to my wife. My wife, when we came here, we set up a little booth at the house in the utility room itself, and she sold season tickets year after year after year until you took over, I think, along the line itself. But it's so great in the life itself that so many people blessed all my wife and my family and my coaches and my players and the teachers that I associated with in this world today. It's so important in my life itself. And like I say, I'm humbled and I'm pleased, and I realize that this is the beginning of the life of someone like me that's lived a life, a dream of life itself. And like I said at the beginning, I got into coaching because I knew I wasn't going to be rich, but my life was going to be so rich because of being involved with the number of people that I was involved with itself.
Is there anything else, Coach, you want to say, or anything else you want to comment about, but that wasn't asked maybe, or anything?
You know, talking about some memories, I could sit here and I could talk about, you know, 1972, we made it to the state finals and got beat on first down and stuff. But I guess probably the fondest memory that I have of my athletic program
There you go. Yeah.
is simply the idea itself. In 1967, 6 ball games, we hadn't won a ball game, we tied 3. And then we started winning ball games. And in that series that we lost ball game itself, we lost the ball game to reserve, 40-12. And we turned around and we won 2 playoff games. We played reserve, and one of them we beat them 6-2. And I think that's the turnaround of life. That's where the program turned on the axis that was going to become successful in this area itself. It's been a pleasure. It's been a wonderful experience for me because of the boys. And you know, these people you coach, they come back and they thank you, and that's what's good about it. everything in our life itself.
Very good, Coach.
Good for nothing.